Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, is this really the best version of me? Not the most perfect, not the most polished, but the most real, brave, and purposeful version of yourself? That quiet question lives in all of us. We carry it through our daily routines, our successes, our failures, and even our silent doubts. And yet, most people never stop long enough to truly answer it. We chase expectations, compare ourselves to others, and get lost in the noise, forgetting that deep down we each have something unique, something powerful, waiting to be lived out. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming who you already are, fully and without apology. It's about showing up with heart, choosing growth over comfort, and rising little by little into the person you were always meant to be. Because your best self isn't found in some distant future. It starts now with what you think, what you believe, and what you're willing to become. So today, let's talk about how you can be your best. Not someday, not when things are perfect, but right here, right now, starting with one simple decision: to believe it's possible. Positive thinking is the launch pad for becoming your best because it sets the tone for how you interpret your life, your capabilities, and your future. It doesn't mean ignoring difficulties or pretending that everything is perfect. It means choosing to believe that good is possible, that progress is within reach, and that challenges are temporary, not defining. The way you think colors every action you take. If your thoughts are full of doubt, fear, or negativity, your energy will match that mindset. But when you shift your thoughts to belief, confidence, and hope, you begin to act with more courage and persistence. A positive mind naturally builds self-belief. It encourages you to see what's possible, not just what's wrong. It helps you say, I can figure this out, instead of, I'm not good enough. That small difference in thinking makes a massive difference in outcomes. People who practice positive thinking don't necessarily have fewer obstacles. They just meet those obstacles with a different spirit. They see setbacks as setups for comeback. They turn failure into feedback. They keep going, not because life is easy, but because they've trained their mind to look for light even in dark places. This mindset also affects how you approach your goals. When you believe in a good outcome, you take more action. You risk more, try more, care more, because you expect something worthwhile to come from your efforts. And when that energy is behind your goals, your results naturally improve. Positive thinking becomes a cycle. Belief leads to action. Action brings results. Results strengthen belief. It becomes a loop of progress that lifts you step by step toward your best self. Another important part of positive thinking is the way it shapes your relationships. A person who radiates positivity is someone others want to be around. They encourage, support, and uplift. They build connection, and they strengthen teams. That energy is contagious. It not only makes your own life better, it spreads to those around you. When your thoughts are hopeful, your words become kind, and your actions become uplifting. That creates a life full of meaning and connection, not just success. Being your best begins in the mind. When you choose positive thoughts, you plant seeds of greatness that can grow into habits, relationships, and a future that reflects the very best version of you. Faith in yourself and a higher purpose is a powerful force that can transform the way you live, think, and act. It begins with an inner knowing, a quiet, steady belief that you are made for something meaningful, that your life has value beyond what others say or what your current circumstances suggest. This kind of faith isn't loud or showy. It's rooted deep in your spirit and gives you strength in moments when logic fails or when your motivation runs low. It's the voice inside that says, keep going, even when you feel like giving up. Believing in yourself doesn't mean thinking you're perfect or always right. It means trusting that you have the ability to learn, to grow, and to overcome. It means knowing that even if you're not there yet, you're on your way. This kind of self-faith is built one step at a time, by trying, by failing, and by getting back up. Each time you face a challenge and push through it, you prove to yourself that you are capable. That proof becomes part of your foundation. The stronger your foundation, the more confident and steady you become. At the same time, there's something deeply empowering about believing in a higher purpose. When you know or sense that your life is part of a bigger plan, you begin to live with more direction and more peace. You stop seeing everything as random, and you start recognizing meaning even in the hard times. That belief gives you courage. You realize you're not alone, that something greater is guiding you, shaping you, and using your journey for something good. It allows you to trust the process, even when you don't understand it yet. This combination, faith in yourself and in something greater, creates a powerful balance. You take responsibility for your life, but you also release the need to control everything. You do your best, but you trust that what you can't see is still working in your favor. That kind of faith brings resilience. It helps you keep your head up even when life gets heavy. It helps you walk with a quiet confidence, knowing that your steps matter, your efforts count, and your story is still unfolding in a meaningful and beautiful way. Small steps lead to great victories because real growth doesn't usually happen all at once. It builds slowly, consistently, and often quietly. It's easy to look at someone who seems successful or confident and assume they got there overnight. But if you look closer, you'll see a trail of small decisions, daily habits, and quiet perseverance. Each tiny action taken with intention adds up over time. Whether it's waking up a little earlier, replacing a bad habit with a better one, or pushing through discomfort just one more day, these small choices carry incredible power. The beauty of small steps is that they are always within reach. You don't have to wait for the perfect conditions or for motivation to strike like lightning. You can begin exactly where you are, with what you have. You might not be able to transform your whole life in a day, but you can make one better choice today, and that counts. It builds momentum. It proves to you that change is possible. And over time, these small wins stack on top of each other and create a foundation of strength and self-respect. What often holds people back is the belief that their actions are too small to matter. They think if the progress isn't dramatic, it isn't valuable. But that's a lie the mind tells when it's afraid of patience or discipline. In truth, every great achievement is just a collection of small, faithful efforts, repeated over time. Learning a new skill, building a relationship, improving your health, growing spiritually. All of it happens one step at a time. Each small act becomes a brick in the structure of your best self. There's also something deeply encouraging about small steps because they reduce the pressure of perfection. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need a 10-year plan. You just need to do what you can today with focus and heart. That approach is sustainable, it's honest, and it works. Even when you stumble, you're still further along than if you hadn't tried. The key is consistency. Keep going, even if progress is slow. Trust that your effort is shaping something inside you, even when the results aren't visible yet. Over time, those simple, steady steps will carry you to places you never imagined. Visualizing your ideal self is a powerful tool for transformation because the mind responds strongly to images, especially especially those that stir emotion and purpose. When you clearly picture who you want to become, you begin to align your thoughts, actions, and habits with that version of yourself. It's not about fantasy or wishful thinking. It's about giving your mind a target, something to aim toward. That mental image becomes a kind of internal compass, quietly guiding your choices even when you're not consciously thinking about it. Your ideal self isn't perfect, but it is full of the qualities you admire and long to develop. Maybe it's someone who is more patient, more courageous, more disciplined, more kind. When you hold that vision in your mind, you give your current self something to reach for. Not from a place of self-criticism, but from a place of hope and direction. You're not running from who you are. You're growing into who you are meant to be. That mental picture helps you bridge the gap between your present reality and your deeper potential. What you visualize repeatedly begins to feel familiar, and what feels familiar becomes more believable. Over time, your brain begins to accept this image of your ideal self as something realistic, something attainable. That belief quietly shifts how you behave. You start making decisions that match the person you see in your mind. You begin to say no to things that don't fit that image and yes to things that move you closer to it. Your choices, however small, begin to reflect the future you're building. This process also helps you stay motivated. When you get tired or discouraged, that mental image can pull you forward. It reminds you why you started. It reminds you that who you are today is not the final version of you. Visualization gives you a reason to keep showing up, to keep working, to keep believing. It connects your actions to a purpose that feels personal and real. The more detailed and emotionally connected that vision is, the more powerful it becomes. When you see your ideal self with clarity and conviction, you're not just dreaming, you're directing your life with intention. You're building a path to your best self from the inside out. Facing setbacks with optimism is one of the most important traits you can develop on the journey to being your best. Life will bring disappointments, delays, and failures. It's not a question of if, but when. The key lies in how you respond. An optimistic mindset doesn't ignore pain or pretend everything is fine. It acknowledges the hardship but refuses to let it be the end of the story. It says, "This is not how it ends. There's something more on the other side of this." Optimism allows you to see failure not as a stop sign, but as a redirection. When something doesn't go your way, you can choose to see it as a lesson, not a loss. That shift in thinking opens the door for growth. Every setback has the potential to reveal something valuable, something about your strength, your strategy, or your perspective. When you look at setbacks with a heart that still hopes, you give yourself the freedom to learn instead of getting stuck in blame, shame, or regret. This kind of optimism is active, not passive. It doesn't just sit around waiting for good things to happen. It searches for meaning. It asks, what can I do now? It fuels persistence, even when progress is slow or invisible. Optimism keeps your energy alive. It gives you the courage to try again, to adapt, and to believe that your effort still matters. In this way, optimism becomes a kind of quiet power that keeps you moving, even when the road feels heavy or unclear. People often think optimism is something you're born with, but it can be practiced. It starts with the words you speak to yourself when things fall apart. Do you say, "I always mess up"? Or do you say, "I'll figure this out"? That small shift in language reflects a much deeper shift in perspective, and the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. When you face life's challenges with this kind of perspective, you not only survive the hard times, you come out stronger, wiser, and more grounded. Optimism becomes your anchor. It reminds you that even in failure, you're still growing. Even in waiting, you're still moving forward. Even in disappointment, your story still has purpose. Uplifting others as you climb is one of the most meaningful ways to grow into your best self, because it turns your personal progress into something that benefits the people around you. Success and growth are often seen as solitary pursuits, but real fulfillment comes when your journey becomes a source of light for someone else. When you share encouragement, wisdom, or simple acts of kindness with others, you reinforce those same qualities within yourself. Helping others doesn't slow you down. It strengthens your character and multiplies the impact of your efforts. Every person you meet is carrying some kind of burden, even if it doesn't show. A kind word, a small gesture of support, or a moment of genuine attention can make a difference that lasts far beyond what you might realize. When you lift others, you remind them of their own strength. You give them a reason to believe in themselves again, and in doing so, you build a deeper sense of connection and purpose in your own life. Growth that is shared becomes more powerful than growth that is kept to yourself. There's something deeply grounding about staying humble enough to remember where you started. When you're climbing, whether it's toward a goal, a dream, or a better version of yourself, it can be easy to focus only on your own steps. But when you pause to extend a hand, to mentor, to encourage, or simply to listen, you become a force for good. You start to build a life, not just of success, but of significance. The path to your best self isn't meant to be walked alone. Being someone who uplifts others also helps you stay true to your values. It keeps your heart open, even in a world that can feel competitive or harsh. It reminds you that kindness is not weakness, it's strength in its purest form. Every time you choose to encourage instead of criticize, to help instead of ignore, you reinforce the best parts of who you are becoming. It turns your success into a legacy. In the end, lifting others isn't just about what you give them, it's about what it brings out in you. It calls you to lead by example, to live with empathy, and to create a life that not only rises but raises others along the way. So as we come to the end of this message, remember this: being your best isn't a finish line you cross one day. It's a way of living, a daily commitment to show up with purpose, with courage, and with heart. It's choosing to think positively even when things are hard. It's having faith in your journey and believing that there's meaning in every step you take. It's taking small, steady actions that build a life of strength and value. It's visualizing the person you know you're capable of becoming and moving toward that vision with quiet determination. It's facing life's setbacks with hope instead of fear. And most of all, it's lifting others as you rise. Because your best self is not just about what you achieve, but who you become in the process. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to be perfect. You simply need to start right where you are with the belief that you are enough to begin and strong enough to keep going. The best version of you is already inside you, waiting to be lived out. Choose to rise, choose to grow, and most of all, choose to be your best one day, one step, one choice at a time.